to my channel. I just wanted to get right into the video, just so then that way I can make them short. But I hope that you guys do end up watching my videos, not necessarily for, getting lots of views or anything like that. Like I've said before in past videos, that this is more of a video diary, but I just want to be able to share my thoughts and see if other people share those thoughts and opinions and so on. But in today's video, I wanted to rank a franchise that I don't think I've had a lot of people talk about or rank before, or at least if they have ranked this series before, then it's not a TV series, it's a movie series, but like a franchise. But I know that I've seen a lot of videos of people reacting to watch these movies for the first time, but I've never really truly saw anyone rank this franchise before. I need to grab the paper, so bear with me. But this franchise I'm talking about is the Poltergeist franchise. Um, I think that this is a franchise, is small, but still a pretty good franchise. Like for just remember this, so is Scream is a pretty small franchise compared to like Halloween and Freddy and Nightmare, but there's only 4 movies in this series, in this franchise. But then just remember, Scream right now it has 6, but for the longest time it only had 3. It was a trilogy. It was the first 3, 96, 97, and then 2000 for Scream 1, 2, 3, respectively. And then years later they did Scream 4, and then even more years later they did Scream 2022 and Scream 6. But anyways, I'm going to get right into my ranking of the Poltergeist franchise. And of course, this has to be in 4th place, and I'd be surprised if other people put this one in higher, like at number 3 or 2, but at number 4, it has to be the Poltergeist remake from 2015. It has to be said that one was a terrible remake. And of course, we know that there are some remakes that kind of are not necessarily as good as the original, but are still pretty good and not bad. For example, I actually enjoyed the Friday the 13th remake from 2009. I enjoyed that one. Not Nightmare on Elm Street, not so much. Not the 2010. That one was like terrible. But the Jason one was pretty decent. Friday the 13th was pretty good from 2009. But this 2015 remake was not good at all. It kind of had the remnants of the original, but not really. It was, a family that was haunted in a haunted house, so to speak, but it wasn't in the same sense as the original. It wasn't really well acted. It wasn't scary at all. The only thing redeeming quality that I liked of it is that the girl was actually really cute and adorable. The dad wasn't too bad, but I think he's a okay actor. I think he's pretty decent. The mom, not so much. I know that she's been in other things and whatnot, but I just didn't really like her character that much. Just the standard typical stay-at-home mom, whatever. But and then another reason why she even took the actress who played the mom in this remake, took this movie, is because she's actually married to Rob Livingston. I cannot pronounce that last name to, save my life. But is it Rob or Ron? I think it's Ron Livingston. And he was actually the dad from the first Conjuring, not Patrick Wilson, not the Patrick Wilson who plays Ed Warren in The Conjuring, but like the dad, the dad of the family that's being haunted from their Conjuring. She's married to him, and she only took this movie basically because of what a success The Conjuring was. So yeah, she probably would have been better off not doing this movie. But anyway, Number three is going to be I did have this at a standstill, but then I decided to switch it last minute. But at number three is going to be Poltergeist 3. I was debating whether I wanted to keep it the way it is or switch it, and I decided to switch it. I actually love Poltergeist 3. I thought Poltergeist 3, like, I've watched all three of these movies, like, over and over again since, I can remember. But Poltergeist 3 I thought was really good. I just have distinct memories of certain scenes of this movie, like the parking lot thing with the puddle with the water and stuff, and the mirrors down the hotel hallways and stuff, and of course the whole um, Carol Ann, the young girl, was like, "You don't want me," blah blah, and then she's turning around and it's like, right to the aunt. So that was a good one, but it just, even though as much as I feels nostalgia for this movie, it wasn't as good as the others in this franchise. Well, it's better than the remake, but it's not better than the other two that are on this list. But I do like some of the aspect of the story of, her being older and just more understanding and aware of everything and so on. But what I didn't like, of course, was it didn't have the parents from the first two films. It didn't have Craig T. Nelson or Jo Beth Williams. And I'm surprised that, I understand that they didn't want to do another one because they already did two. But it was kind of weird to do a third one without them because they were, especially from the first two films, they were so protective of Carol Ann. And especially in the original, like, the mom was like, "I need my baby. That's my baby. I need to get her." Like, all of a sudden, like, "Hey, yeah, go stay with your aunt." Like, how did you go from she's just a baby to, go stay with your aunt? Like, with all that you went through in the first two films, you're just going to go let her be by herself with her aunt? Like, as I know it's family that you're staying with your aunt and uncle, but I still wouldn't. I wouldn't even let her go with all the crap that they went through. But yeah, so that is another reason why it's, to some people, that might even guarantee that that would be last place and not third. But I still enjoyed it. But yeah, it's just, it doesn't bother me. Like, it bothers me, but it doesn't bother me that much. Because if I was the mother, I wouldn't let her out of my sight. But then again, I guess, sometimes you have to grow up and stuff, but not that fast. But yeah, so Poltergeist 3 comes in at 3. So number 2 is going to be Poltergeist 2. I really liked this one a lot. The reason why it's a little bit better on my list, because I just liked, kind of, it wasn't a difference of tone, but almost a difference of tone. Because in the first one, it was creepy and scary in some places and stuff, but it was almost not happy, but like it was, I don't know how to explain the original, but the original, it was definitely good at, like, at the good, like at the happy parts, it's good. You felt happy. At the creepy parts, you felt creepy. But like with Poltergeist 2, you could totally feel the creepiness the whole time because you know that there's something wrong and you just can't put your finger on it yet. And some people like that kind of stuff and wish that was like that the whole time. But this Poltergeist 2, it was just so good. And I think what added to that and the creepiness is the preacher. Like, oh my gosh, that preacher was so creepy and so just chilling. And another reason why I like this one is you brought back, like, pretty much all the characters from the first film, except for the older daughter. Um, Unfortunately, sadly, she lost her life. The actress Dominique Dunn, after the original movie came out, Dominique Dunn, the actress who played the older daughter, was unfortunately unalived. She didn't unalive herself. She was unalived by her creepy ex. that was super jealous and super like very, very, very overprotective and very controlling. So he unalived her. And so they kind of just didn't shrug her off, but like just said she's at college. So that was unfortunate. And that was actually not, that was pretty much like the start of some of the, well, not the start, but one of the starts of the, um, there has been said by multiple people, by multiple of these movies that things have happened because there have been multiple people who have died or have been unalived because of one thing or other, and they just find that is the curse of the poltergeist films. And yeah, so I just find that this movie was super duper like creepy, and it was, they did a good job with that tone of keeping that tone and stuff. And I liked also the new character of, oh my gosh, what's, I can't remember at the top of my head what his name is, but is it, no, it's not Teak. But anyways, they had a kind of like an Indian advisor who kind of helped the Freeling family with keeping the spirits away. And I just thought that was interesting and great that they had that. And I just liked that character, that Indian guide character, and just trying to help this family, just like Chagina did in the first film. And you do see an appearance from Chagina. Is that her name? I think the medium for the first movie. That's this house is clean. But anyways, I just thought that was such a creepy. And like I said, what made it very, very creepy and very like on your edge of your seat, like, oh, that guy's creepy, is that guy, is that creature. And so, yeah, that guy was creepy. And so, of course, number one is going to be the original. Nothing usually always, nothing ever really beats the original. I thought the original was amazing. And it, like, what more can I say about the original? The, the original, I think, definitely is not really all that scary in the sense of boo-ah or, you know, in the traditional sense of a Halloween movie. But I just found it like an original like horror movie. Like it was like yes, it was about poltergeist, but it wasn't like trying to be like all the other poltergeist movies of the day and even today. Um, the original, I thought it was funny. I thought it was dramatic. I thought it was, in some sense, scary. I'm not one to find clowns scary, so the clowns didn't really bother me. Um, the tree was actually pretty creepy. I think out of all of it, the tree was probably the creepiest because it did look like it was like some sort of um, body of a man, like a stick man and stuff. Well, a lot of people got confused with this movie that it was a yeah, it was technically a Steven Spielberg movie, but it wasn't directed by him. It was produced by him, I believe, and he kind of helped with it, but he did not direct it. It was Toby Hooper. And as everyone knows, in another horror movie, Toby Hooper actually directed famously the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from about 8 years before, because the Poltergeist, the original, came out in 1982, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out in 1974. So Toby Hooper is the one that was the one that directed this film. So with that being said, um, I don't think I remember. I think I kind of remember that weren't arguing, Toby and Steven, but a lot of Toby would get a little mad and be like, "Oh yeah, Steven's directing it." No, I directed it. But anyway, and another reason why Steven didn't direct it is because he was also making and directing E.T. at the same time, and so that is why um, Steven Spielberg was a producer on this film instead of directing it because he was working on E.T., which was, if you really think about it, between E.T. and Poltergeist, E.T. was bigger than Poltergeist. So, you know, he got to put his money behind the bigger bucks. And then on top of that, I believe I've heard this that Drew Barrymore actually tried out for this film first, for Poltergeist first, to play the little girl, but then didn't get it. But then, because Drew Barrymore tried out for this film, was then cast in E.T. Because again, like I said, this is produced by Steven Spielberg. So I'm sure that if Drew Barrymore didn't try out for Poltergeist, then she probably wouldn't have gotten E.T. And I believe that on Drew Barrymore's talk show, I think she mentioned that she did try out for Poltergeist, but then didn't get Poltergeist, but then in turn did E.T. instead, specifically by Steven Spielberg. So, but the original I thought was so good, and I thought I liked the effects. It was like practical effects, and some of the stuff was, can be, I could see would be generally scary for some people, like the clown, the skull in the bedroom way, in the bedroom doorway and stuff, and the guts and stuff that's in the doorway as well. Yeah, and like I like how they kind of use that whole practical effects of the mom rolling on top of the ceiling and stuff like that. From what I remember, it was just a practical effects, that it was like a scene where it was just spinning and then she was just rolling on the ceiling, a fake ceiling. So I just thought that was pretty cool. And of course, another fun fact that a lot of people that are fans of Poltergeist, the movie and stuff, is that the skulls in the pool near the end of the film and during the pop up coffins and stuff, those were real. Those were real skeletons. It was actually a lot cheaper to buy and use real skeletons than the fake plastic ones. I know, ironic. It was funny, but not really, because it's a really disturbing piece. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why this movie was claimed to have been cursed, and a lot of the actors died. First Dominic Dunn, and then um, like I mentioned in the second movie, there was that Indian guy, that actor passed away. Oh, and also another person from Poltergeist 2 passed away, the preacher, who was creepy. He knew that he was going to die while filming this movie, and he wanted to make it such a good run that he was as creepy as he could. And I can't remember if he had like throat cancer or what kind of cancer he had, but he had a cancer, and the medicines and like the stuff he was doing to kind of help maybe possibly cure the cancer was making his throat like so raspy and like almost like he smoked every day, and it just made his performance even better, even though he did die, I think, shortly after this, after Poltergeist 2. And then on top of that, and Poltergeist 3, unfortunately, Heather O'Rourke, no, actually not after Poltergeist 3, or maybe it was, I think that the film actually not wrapped, but like they had like, the pre-production was over, and Heather O'Rourke, the star of all three movies, the little girl, she actually passed away. It was, I can't remember the name of the disease she had, but it was misdiagnosed, and she unfortunately died, or she unfortunately was unalived and was dead and died really young. She was only like 12 or 13 when she passed away. And she, I think, and that's why I'm saying it was in pre-production, because they had to bring back a lookalike to finish some scenes, or at least do some reshoots. And one of those, I can't remember if it was in the DVD extras or something that I have, but it was this last scene, like at the end of Poltergeist 3, when the uncle was holding her, and it had the um, it had the older girl, who was the daughter of the aunt and uncle, and then the aunt and uncle, and then Carol Ann. So, anyways, there's a shot of all four of them the older daughter of the aunt and uncle, and then the little redhead, the little blonde head girl. So all of the aunt, uncle, and cousin were all facing the camera, where Carol Ann was with her face away from the camera, just so then that way they wouldn't have to show the double's face. So yeah, unfortunately, young Heather O'Rourke was sadly taken away from us too early, and I think that she would have had a great career, like maybe even a great career as an adult actress. And yeah, that's my ranking. I hope that you guys enjoy. Post in the comments below what your ranking is of this franchise if you're familiar with it. And if you haven't watched any of them, I recommend them. I would say probably like I said, the original Poltergeist is the best. So if you don't want to watch all four of them, just watch the original and you'll be just fine. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Thank you. Bye bye.